Is it recording?
Great. Welcome, everybody, and welcome to our webinar today, going from 2 p.m. to 3:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Peter Niemeyer, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to today's workshop. The workshop is entitled Indigenous Perspectives on Solidarity in a COVID-19 World. Some practical information to begin with. Is that because this session is being translated, we ask presenters to speak at a slow, even space to give the translator time to be able to do the simultaneous translation. We also ask participants that if you have questions for our presenters, be sure to write them in the chat box. And we will ask the questions to our presenters. And we're going to do it in this format. We have Sarah Fontaine Sinclair. She is going to go first. Then we'll have a time for question and answers for Sarah. And then we'll have Bonnie go next with question and answers for Bonnie. And then we will have Nigan Sinclair come with some summary comments and reflections. So that's how the workshop is going to unfold today. Just to also remind you that this session is being recorded, and all recordings will be available on the VFairs platform. So you can come into the platform just as you have been, and you will find all the workshops and the recordings here. We know that you can't be in more places than where you are. You can't divide yourself into 3. So you can always come back and hear the other workshops that you didn't get to hear live. So in introducing Sarah and Nigan, well, Sarah first, Sarah came to my attention through a connection that I have from Mennonite Church Canada, that it says, he said to me, Steve is his name, he said, Sarah is a young person who's really keen on the environment, on ecological justice. She's very much an activist on this regard. It would be great if you connect with her. So I was really happy to be able to make this connection. And another piece of note is that Sarah is the granddaughter of Murray Sinclair, who directed the Truth and Reconciliation Commission here in Canada. So that also helps to situate Sarah and Nigan in that way as well. This is a very important topic for us because in this whole idea of solidarity in a COVID-19 world, it's important that voices are amplified from the global south and from marginalized communities. And so this is a workshop that we felt that was important. We have a number of Indigenous presenters throughout the course of the weekend. Anatalia Piace, who is an Indigenous leader from the Amazon, is presenting later on this afternoon. But we thought we would have more of a conversation type idea around Indigenous perspectives in a COVID-19 world. One that is from within the Canadian context, the other one from within the Guatemala context. They're going to be very different stories. They're very different people. And Sarah is a high school student. Bonnie is a university student. Their contexts are very different, but there might be some similarities too. So I ask you just to be paying attention in terms of what are the similarities, what are the differences that you're hearing as you hear the different presentations. And particularly for those of us who are part of the settler community, what are the things that we need to be tuning in in terms of how to move forward with Indigenous justice and how that's also connected.
I don't think it's our connection that's the problem. I'm hoping, anyways. But oh, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Okay, just nod. Bonnie, can you hear us? Okay.
Should we just go ahead?
Should we just get started? Maybe Sarah can present. Okay.
Okay.
All
Should
right.
we just start?
So you know what I'll do is just because Peter looks like he's jammed out there, and so let's oh there we are, Peter. We're just gonna get Sarah to start here, and Sarah has a commitment that she has to go to with her grandmother, and
That's right.
so, but we'll get started on Sarah. So this is my daughter Sarah. So we'll greet ourselves traditionally. So we'll be speaking our own traditional language here. So just in case you don't understand it or the translation won't come through, but we'll come back to English in just a second. So we say Boju and Didwe Magadaduk, Nigon Webedum Dijna Kos, Namago Shindo Dem, Nimenwendam Omayayin. Go ahead.
Buju, Nimiji Nabekwe, Indigenous Cause, Namago Shindo Dem.
It's nice to be here. We greet all of you, and we offer you kindness and our generosity with by asking us all to think of each other in leadership. And we, as Anishinaabe people, we start with the feather because we want to talk in a good way and think in the highest way, that we see our connections with the land. So we offer this kindness, and we particularly want to greet our new relative, our new cousin Bonnie, who is to the south of us. We've invited Bonnie to come and be part of our family here, be part of our community. So we hope in the future that we can share food with you, Bonnie, and also with Peter as well, and with all the other people involved with this conference. Without any further ado, though, I'm going to introduce Sarah. Sarah's going to take over the description and some conversation. We have some slides. Do you want me to pull those up now?
Yeah, pull them up.
Okay, so this is my daughter, Sarah, who's going to share a little bit about herself. And here I will make the slideshow fully. Here we go.
Okay, so Buju. My Indigenous name, as I introduced earlier, is Nimiji Nabekwe, which means the light that dances on the water woman. And I have always felt a really special connection with the water ever since getting this name. In Indigenous culture, we believe that our name represents our truer inner self, our spirit that is that makes us whole and that makes us feel like we have a place in the world. So this slide here shows when we get our Indigenous names, it always is given to us with a dream, with a story. So my name comes from this place called Thunder Bay, and it is from Sleeping Giant. That's what it's called.
Yeah, so that rock face over there is called the Sleeping Giant. But this water is where Sarah's name comes from. It's Lake Superior, one of the Great Lakes in North America.
Right. And when he saw that dream, he saw these eyes dancing off the water, the light. When you see the sun shining on the water, that was what he saw, and he saw my eyes formed in that water. So I've always felt a really special connection with the water, and I've always felt a need to protect it because that is my name, that is my identity. I have had really special connections with my family who have guided me on figuring out what my name means. My dad sort of added some things to the slide, so there's some pictures of me when I was little. but many people here have guided me and shown me what the earth means to me and my special connection and my identity as an Indigenous person in Canada. I've had some really strong women in my life that have shown me what it means to be resilient, shown me what it means to be a strong advocate for whatever I advocate for, if that's climate change or Indigenous rights. And my musha, my grandfather in Ojibwe, he taught me about the importance of education and reconciliation. He taught me the importance of being kind and listening to others. And that's a teaching that I carry through with me whenever I want to teach about climate change or Indigenous rights. But on this education journey, the women in my family have taught me many things about climate change too. We went on a water walk was it in 2013?
13, yep.
13. And we went all the way around here. I'll go to the next slide. We went all the way around our lake in Manitoba because my grandmother and my dad, I think is in that photo, my mom, they all saw that there was lots of pollution in the water. We saw that on the walk, we saw that there was a fisherman who had shown us that there was these fish who had scales in the wrong direction because of the pollution in the water. And so on this walk, I truly learned the importance of protecting the earth and protecting the water, and my job, how important my job is to protect it, and how important that we give water a voice. Here's my dad and me on the water walk. I was very small when I went on the water walk. I think was I 12 or 10?
13 would have been, you were 7.
I was 7 years old, and we walked 1,400 kilometers, and I walked 5 of them with breaks in between, but with my dad and my aunties and my kukum, which is grandmother in Ojibwe. Now, the importance, I've had a life long, and I'm still learning a lot about the earth and learning a lot about what it means to be an Indigenous woman protecting the earth. But in 2018, I think, I had a berry fast, which is when we have a berry fast in our culture when we say that when a girl turns into a woman, when she has her first menstruation. And we believe that that's a very sacred time for a woman. And we ask them to give up berries for a year to show that we think that the earth is sacred and that we need to protect it. I've learned a lot. I learned a lot from that berry fast because you have a special connection with the woman in your family during that time. And they teach you all about the different medicines that we can gather from the earth, and the importance of making sure that you know these medicines and that you know where they come from. And the thing about climate change is that sometimes that we've noticed that our medicines have moved and that our berries have been dehydrated. And so that's why we want to protect the earth. And that's one of the teachings of the ceremony, that we have to protect our berries and we have to protect our earth. Now, from these teachings of education that I've learned, a few weeks ago, I think, we had a Truth and Reconciliation, our first National Truth and Reconciliation Day in Canada, which is a day to recognize the hurt and pain that was caused by residential schools. And because I learned so much about education from my family, I realized that it was important to not only talk about climate change, but also Indigenous rights, because they go hand in hand. The Indigenous people know a lot about the earth. and we have to learn about the different medicines in this earth. We also have to we have to teach other people about the different medicines. So here, right here, is a smudge bowl, and I was showing different people in our school what the importance of sage is. We believe that sage cleanses us and shows us and opens our eyes to different and cool things. So it was a really important day too, because I truly, it was inspiring because I knew how important education was. It showed me how important education was, and how willing people are to learn.
Oh, one of the things I just would add to what Sarah's saying is because of what's a policy that was by the government called residential schools, many of our young people don't know their culture, and they've been one of the things that residential schools did was remove our children from our communities and their families. But they also removed us from the land. We removed us from our traditional territories, put them into institutions. And so this picture right at the bottom here, this is the residential school that many Indigenous children in this area were taken to and put into, forcibly removed by the government, by the police, so that I saw the translator just wanted me to slow down. So when children were removed, they were not just removed from their homes, their families, but also from the land. So many of our young people don't learn about the medicines that Sarah's talking about. So Sarah takes it upon herself to teach young people, Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples, about the land itself, because Sarah is not an environmentalist. She is Anishinaabe. And so because of her name, she has the responsibility to talk about the land, to talk about the water, and also to talk about the medicines that come from the earth itself. So Sarah, in many ways, is not an activist. She's not an environmentalist. She is a person she is the land itself. She is the water. Her name tells her that. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. And so part of that is that she's also, many people call her an activist, but when she's spending time with her friends, she's really talking about herself. And so you want to talk about what you organized a couple of years ago?
Yeah. My friends have always inspired me and pushed me to do really inspiring and important things too, as well as with my family. But my friends have been a big part of me learning about advocacy and pushing me to do advocacy things. So in a couple of years ago, we had a climate strike around the world. You might have heard about that. My friends and I helped form the climate strike in my hometown, Winnipeg, that we're in right now. We helped form the group that would go on climate strikes every Friday, because we believed that if we shouldn't have to go to school if we're not learning about the climate change that might destroy our earth, and that we're not given rights in school to learn about these things, and we wanted to be able to be given the teachings about climate change. So we started our own group, and we started going on climate strikes on every first Friday of the month, and we saw that there were many people who were interested in coming and wanting to learn about the climate change rallies and that stuff. And we saw that there were more people coming and more people coming. And we have an Earth Day, and on Earth Day, we had the biggest climate strike that we had since when we started, which was about a year after. And we started off with 21 people. That was our first climate strike. And here in this photo that was on Earth Day, there was 12,000 people. And that really shows you how much only a tiny group of people can do. And it's important that we continue doing this work. I continue to do this work because, as my dad said, it's my identity to, if there isn't any water, then I'm not here. The water is me. And so if there's oil polluting the water, that's, the light can't dance off the water. My identity is gone. So I want to be able to protect it and protect it for the next 7 generations in the future.
And so I just want to emphasize here that, these were a bunch of 12 and 13-year-olds who organized a gathering with thousands and thousands of people, Winnipeggers, adults who took the leadership of the youth. I cannot emphasize enough how that is a model. It's also a call to action. And most importantly, it's a reminder that it is the youth we should be thinking about. It is the young people's voices that should be at the start of these gatherings, because it is what they want, what they need, and what they are holding us accountable and responsible to, that we will be better people. And we all at one point or another were youth ourselves. And I think now that we are in the positions of power, I'm a professor, I'm a columnist with the newspaper, I'm a father, that we should be listening to those who will be inheriting the earth from us. And so I want just everybody to, if you, wherever you are in the world, or wherever you are in your homes and your families and communities, to listen to those young people, and also thank people like Sarah. I'm very lucky in that I get to be her father, but and I get to hear her every day. But she was very nervous for this presentation, and so but she worked very hard to give you a very small amount of information about what she's doing and how important it is to her that she shows solidarity to our relative Bonnie, and that you may be far away from us, but we are thinking of you. And when she does this, we want you to know that we love you and that we care about you, and that we want to do more work to be able to show support and allyship with you in your faraway place, and all of you out there who are doing that work for the earth and the water. We know that you are doing that for us, and we are doing it for you. And so we say a big miigwech, and we love you very much. And miigwech to you. When we say miigwech, by the way, we don't mean thank you. We mean miigwech means that the gift that you are giving us of your time, we will give it on into the future. So a big miigwech to everybody that's partaking in this session today. Good.
Miigwech.
I don't know. Do we hand it back to Peter? Did we lose Peter? Or, oh, there's Peter.
There he is.
I'm back. So thank you so very much for that presentation. Such important clarifications around that whole climate activism versus who you are, and why that's connected and important. So I also want to know, how long was that walk around Lake Winnipeg? What is the number of kilometers from north to south? Any guesses?
It's 1,400 kilometers around this section that has roads. There's about a 400 kilometer section that there's no roads. And so we'd be walking in the bush with bears.
Yeah.
And so we didn't do that part. It was my sisters and my remember that this was led by women.
Right.
This was led by my mother and my sisters, and Sarah was a part. I was just an ally and supporter. It was women that do that work to carry that water. You might have seen that little vessel that Sarah was carrying. The reason why there's water in that vessel, that we're supporting the lake, we're helping to carry the lake, is what the teaching is. Right. And that's 1,400 kilometers. That was the walkable part. And Sarah, by herself as a 7-year-old, she insisted to go by herself. She did 5 kilometers by herself on highways, quite dangerous situation, which is oftentimes I was the one walking with her or my sisters, but she was 7 years old doing it by herself. And the most amazing thing is Pete, we were on that road, that picture that we showed. Sarah was walking on a highway where people were driving to their cottage, and we had people stopping along the side of the road and giving us money and giving us food and giving us, this was before the pandemic, but
Right.
Sarah kept saying, to all of those people, going up to their cottage or going to their, their vacation spot is, we're doing this for you. And maybe it might be good to take care of that lake because it's all of us, all of our responsibilities.
Great. Wonderful presentation. I'm going to open it up if there are any questions, because Sarah, I know that you have to leave very shortly. So if there are any questions, please, from the participants, put your questions into the Q&A chat line or in the chat box or the QA box. She needs to be leaving very shortly, so now is your opportunity to put in some questions. So we've got an affirmation. Wonderful presentation. Thank you for your life and for your insights. Great. So much of what you've said we need to take in and to consider it more, especially within the context of our Canadian context. I think I'm freezing again. Do you hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Good. And to continue this learning process, this listening process. And so thank you for sharing your story with us. Have a great rest of the afternoon. And thank you for making the time to be with us this afternoon. We deeply appreciate it. Megwich, and yes, blessings.
Oh, I will still be here. I'm going to just turn my camera off, though. I'll carry my laptop around and listen to Bonnie, of course. Yes. But Sarah, I have to just give Sarah to her grandmother, who's sitting in my backyard right now.
Okay.
So I just have to walk downstairs and then hand her over. But real honor that well, you can speak for yourself, so maybe say thanks.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. And just being here is amazing because you're committing to learning about the water and education around climate change. So miigwech, thank you.
So we hand it back to you. I'm going to be listening, and I'll do the second section with my presentation a little bit later. And so we're just going to turn our camera off for a second here.
Okay, thank you very much, Nigan. All right, so we're going to turn it over to Bonnie at this time. Bonnie is joining us from Guatemala. Bonnie is part of a network of Indigenous youth, part of a resistance, a community resistance to mining activities within his community. He's raising awareness about this. So in terms of solidarity, Indigenous perspectives on solidarity in a COVID-19 world, Bonnie is coming from another context, an important voice for us to hear at this time too as well. So Bonnie, I turn it over to you, and thank you for your presence with us here this afternoon.
Muchas gracias por la oportunidad. Es un honor compartir estas experiencias, esta vivencia que pues mucha de la gente se ha arrepentido de haberlo hecho. Muchas veces, mucha gente no sintió cuando le envendaron los ojos, le taparon los ojos, pero que hoy han despertado y han dicho, ¿qué pasó? ¿Por qué lo hicimos? Porque los destrozos que ha venido a dejar la empresa minera es algo que pues ha marcado el historial de este pueblo, de esta gente. Y bueno, a mí me interesaron este tema desde que era niño. Yo siempre quise ser grande. Yo siempre quise ayudar, ser parte de determinadas determinados grupos. Pero bueno, en mí casi nadie creía. No es por decirles, pero yo fui un niño que aprendí a caminar hasta los 10 años. Entré a la escuela hasta los 11 años. Entonces nadie creía en mí. A mí siempre me veían así, alguien que no podía, pero gracias al apoyo de mis padres, esto se logró y con el tiempo me fui involucrando en asociaciones, eh, en grupos de resistencia hacia la empresa minera que estuvo aquí por varios años. Empezó desde el 97 hasta el 2017 que logró cerrarse. Entonces esto ha marcado un gran historial en la vida de la gente, en la vida del pueblo, porque hoy no podemos ver más que personas empobrecidas, más de lo que estaban cuando la empresa exploró lo que son los minerales. Entonces yo tengo una presentación, no sé si me la pueden proyectar. Bueno, aquí voy a hablarles algo sobre la reseña histórica que marcó la empresa minera en San Miguel Ixtahuacán, que es mi pueblo de origen. Bueno, en 1997 al 99, pues se empezó con el estudio profundo de del suelo, de la tierra, donde la mina ha explorado los minerales. En esta parte, pues, estaban involucrados los cocodes de la comunidad. Entonces ahí empezaron haciendo análisis. Bueno, en ese tiempo había más analfabetos, personas que apenas podían escribir, entonces no se daban cuenta, simplemente se presentaron como organizaciones, representantes de organizaciones en la comunidad. Y luego propusieron hacer el estudio de esta parte del municipio, porque era un lugar donde los árboles no crecían, era un lugar con, o sea, no apto para producir. Entonces ellos decían de que, ¿qué está pasando con esa tierra? Pero seguramente estos representantes tenían el propósito, a qué venían y para qué lo hacían. Entonces, en convenio con permiso de los cocodes o las autoridades de la comunidad, ellos empezaron con este análisis. Eso fue de 1997 al 99. Luego, entraron haciendo regalía de pilas, o sea, lo que nosotros aquí llamamos como lavarropas, para lavar las ropas. Entonces ellos empezaron a regalar esto a las familias de las comunidades involucradas. Entonces las familias al recibir este apoyo, las familias se sintieron motivadas. Dijeron, estos vienen por algo, vienen a ayudarnos. Entonces empezaron así regalando pilas, dando regalías a la familia a modo de atraerlos, a modo de ganarles la conciencia y para entregar su terreno, entregar su territorio. Luego se inicia un proyecto. eh, los representantes prácticamente se empiezan a estabilizar en el lugar. Empiezan con un proyecto de orquídeas. O sea, sembrar orquídeas, luego comercializarlas. Cuando ya las orquídeas estaban grandes, supuestamente ellos tenían que pues tener a disposición para venderlas. Sin embargo, el tiempo, o sea, todo esto era nomás era una evidencia para poder entrar con profundidad a esta comunidad. Después con lo de la comercialización de orquídeas, empiezan entonces con la concientización. No es concientización, empiezan con la capacitación a los líderes de las comunidades, los líderes del municipio. Entonces empiezan a hablarles ya sobre la minería, los beneficios, qué es lo que la mina les trae, que es el desarrollo, salud, mejor educación, mejores escuelas y todo una promesa que llenó la cabeza de los líderes. Esto hizo a que los líderes pues prácticamente se dejaran llenar la cabeza, se dejaran llevar y luego llevar esta noticia hacia su comunidad y decir a la gente, apoyemos este proyecto, apoyemos esta empresa, nos va a traer desarrollo, nos va a traer educación, nos van a dar pues alimentos, van a haber proyectos de agua potable, de letrinas, de todo lo que se necesita en la comunidad. Luego, la empresa, con esto de la concientización, la empresa empieza a comprar tierras. Aunque hay gente que se resistía, pero estaban los líderes para convencer a esta gente que se estaba resistiendo, que no quería, no estaba de acuerdo a salir de su tierra, de su casa, donde ha crecido y todo, pero estaban los líderes para convencerlos. El tiempo transcurría y la empresa ya iba abarcando gran parte de donde explotaron los minerales. Posterior a esto, inicia la oportunidad laboral para la carretera por donde la mina. Entonces empiezan a contratar personal, personas que no saben leer, que no sabían escribir, pero les ofrecieron el trabajo para hacer la carretera, para estar ahí y no sabiendo leer ni escribir, les pagaban el doble de lo que un agricultor puede ganar al ir a trabajar con la gente. Entonces, esto motivó. Media vez empezó la carretera, ahí la mina entró. Ahí la mina prácticamente empezó todo su emprendimiento. Emprendió prácticamente el vuelo en lo que es la instalación de sus maquinarias, la instalación de todo lo necesario. Empezaron a construir casas, habitaciones donde el personal podía podía estar. Eso fue del 97 al 99. Luego, en el 2000 al 2002, bueno, ya lo había dicho, la instalación de maquinarias para sacar la mina. También se da el inicio de la exploración minera. Ya prácticamente empiezan ahí sí a sacar los minerales de forma subterránea, hacer túneles para meterse bajo la tierra. También en este espacio, este año, se da el conflicto entre los que van a favor y los que iban en contra de la mina. Este año fue un año que remarcó la historia de este municipio, ya que aquí involucraron a la Iglesia Católica, a la parroquia, y personas que estaban en resistencia, que estaban en contra de la mina. Acá el sacerdote es de origen belga, ahora está de vacaciones, entonces a él lo empezaron a acusar de, de que él era quien estaba motivando a la gente para no vender sus tierras. Entonces, el sacerdote recibió amenazas, recibió desprecios, y la gente que pues estaba, aunque era de la iglesia, pero tenía un hijo que ya estaba trabajando en la mina, pues se volvió en contra y le dio la espalda a el padre Eric. Entonces, en esta época, el alcalde era Sergio Elías González, que ahora en paz descanse. Él fue uno de los más luchadores en convencer a la gente para vender sus tierras. Él fue un alcalde que tardó 3 temporadas de 4 años. O sea, estuvo comandando la municipalidad por 12 años. Entonces, este era prácticamente un alcalde muy peligroso, aquel que se resistía a vender sus tierras o estaba en contra de la mina, era muy señalado y tenía que cuidarse. De lo contrario, o lo secuestraban o lo agredían o incluso hasta hubo momentos en los que fueron buscados estas personas que estaban defendiendo prácticamente derecho hacia la madre tierra. También uno de los disturbios que hizo que hicieron las personas que estaban a favor de la mina era cuando habían reuniones aquí por parte de la parroquia. Mientras la reunión se realizaba, llegaban las personas que estaban a favor de la mina a hacer bullas, quemando cohetes con, con instrumentos. La idea era, o incluso pegando láminas de la casa, pegándolas a modo de generar bulla y suspender la reunión que se estuviese realizando. Entonces, esto fue un momento duro para la parroquia, para las personas que pues resistieron no quisieron sí, no aceptaron a la empresa estar en este municipio, pero sin embargo se dio. También luego del 2003 al 2004 llega a la mina, empieza la resistencia. Aquí es eh, de- donde empiezan las denuncias y denuncias, manifestaciones y también acusaciones. Bueno, ya dije aparte en contra del padre Eric. Luego, también aquí en este año balean a doña Deodora de San José Iscaniche, así se llama la comunidad. Una mujer que se resistió a vender sus tierras, pero que a causa de esta resistencia que ella tuvo, perdió un ojo. La intención era matarla, pero el tirador falló. El tirador falló porque, bueno, mientras ella estaba, el tirador dispara y ella estaba más o menos en esta posición que la bala le pasó quitándole el ojo. Entonces ella perdió un ojo a causa de resistencia, a causa de la lucha para mantener su tierra, para sentirse parte de la naturaleza. También la gente se da cuenta. Entonces, después de estos aspectos, de la denuncia, de las manifestaciones, de las bullas, de la, la amenaza hacia doña Deodora, la gente se opone. Entonces la gente se da cuenta que ha sido engañada. ¿Y qué hace? Pues entonces empieza a, a manifestar. La gente empieza a arrepentirse. La gente dice, los que estuvieron en contra, ahora entonces está y abren los ojos, pero prácticamente ya están en la piscina sin antes saber nadar. Aquí, pues, empieza nuevamente la resistencia. La gente empieza con las manifestaciones. Incluso doña Deodora, pues, fue protegida ya por parte del Estado. Ella, el Estado le garantizó, pues le puso más que todo dos guardaespaldas que lo acompañaban de día y en lo que ella iba haciendo, cuando iba a pastorear, cuando iba a cargar agua, cuando iba a hacer sus mandados de la casa, pues allí iban los guardaespaldas protegiéndola. Pero esto tardó más o menos como 2 años. Posterior a eso, en el 2005, llega la maquinaria. Aquí empieza la tala de árboles y destrucción de los cerros. Aquí es donde pues la mina empieza ya, ahí sí, a darse a conocer de que ya está, ya venció la gente, ya se instaló y pues empieza la explotación de los minerales de forma general y también se da el incidente del cilindro en Sololá. Bueno, esto es un asunto que también despertó a la gente al escuchar lo que pasó en Sololá, de que un cilindro explotó y mató a mucha gente. Y en ese tiempo, en San Miguel, había silencio, no se sabía nada. Por lo tanto, estos años fueron prácticamente muy duros para la familia miguelense. El pueblo de San Miguel estuvo en peligro, estuvo en peligro, estuvo en pleito, estuvo arrepentido, estuvo manifestando, y los que empezaron su resistencia pues aún seguían en la lucha. Vamos con la siguiente. Entonces, esto pues ha remarcado el historial del pueblo, ha remarcado mucho en las familias, ya que también en el 2007 empieza lo que son las denuncias, o sea, prácticamente los daños a viviendas, al agua, a las siembras. En este año es donde empieza la gente con enfermedades de la piel. Empiezan las viviendas rajadas, los terrenos rajados. En este año, una comunidad que está a 1 kilómetro del municipio, del centro, 1 kilómetro de aquí, a 1 kilómetro de aquí, una comunidad se hunde. Estaba de una parte arriba y luego pasaba un arroyo, un arroyo. Entonces, esta comunidad se hundió. Entonces, aquí la gente se asusta, la gente pues entonces empieza a ver lo que son consecuencias de haber vendido su tierra. Aquí las personas que estaban a favor de la mina acusan a la parroquia porque están en contra del desarrollo. Es lo que les había comentado antes. A pesar de las enfermedades y todos, pero las familias que estaban a favor, pues seguían acusando a la parroquia de que está en contra del desarrollo. El padre no quiere el desarrollo para San Miguel. El padre no quiere la empresa minera. Él no es de aquí, así que sáquelo del municipio. Entonces, también empieza el surgimiento de lo que son organizaciones que se interesaron en analizar a profundidad qué estaba pasando con la mina. Aquí se hace presente a DISMI, Fredemi, la parroquia y otras organizaciones que pues prestaron interés en analizar esta situación. ¿Qué está pasando? ¿Qué está pasando? ¿Por qué se están muriendo los animales? ¿Será por cuestiones de la naturaleza o es por la mina? ¿Por qué las viviendas se están rajando? ¿Es consecuencia de la minería o no? Entonces, todas estas preguntas, las organizaciones empiezan a hacer un estudio profundo. También empiezan, en el 2008, empieza el conflicto entre trabajadores de la mina y comunidades en resistencia. Crisanta y las 8 mujeres. Crisanta es una mujer que estuvo en resistencia y aún sigue, y 8 mujeres más. Pero bueno, son de la comunidad de donde fueron explorados los minerales. Entonces, Crisanta estuvo en persecución. A Crisanta lo estuvieron buscando, amenazando e incluso pues buscando para matarla, al igual que las 8 mujeres. intimidándolas física y verbalmente de parte de los vecinos que estaban a favor de la minería. Aquí también se hace presente el COPAE, que es una organización que también apoyó a la parroquia, apoyó a las otras organizaciones a que las familias continúen, que continúen en resistencia. Ellos tienen el derecho de defender su tierra y de alzar su voz. También aquí empiezan lo que son las denuncias y la contaminación del río Tierra Blanca Móvil. Aquí también, bueno, con el apoyo de COPAE, ADISMI y Fredemi y la parroquia, también empiezan lo que son las acusaciones, las denuncias hacia la mina por la contaminación del río, un río que pasa en las comunidades que pues en donde se instaló la mina, donde estaban explorando los minerales. Luego también empieza lo que es la lucha, bueno, la lucha, ya hablé de la lucha de las 8 mujeres, también empieza lo que es el odio en contra de la mina, el odio en las familias, que el papá estaba en contra de la mina, pero el hijo estaba a favor porque tenía un trabajo. Empieza el conflicto, que no había otra forma más de la que el hijo echarse unas copas y luego en borrachera pegarle al papá, porque estaba en contra de la mina. En 2009, la empresa minera entra en otra comunidad. La empresa minera empezó entrando de comunidad en comunidad hasta que abarcó parte de lo que formaba la riqueza de los minerales. La empresa minera en el 2009 entra en Tierra Blanca, entra en otra comunidad prácticamente. Primero compra las tierras, luego mete la maquinaria, empiezan con los túneles y se instalan a sacar los minerales. Luego empiezan la gente ya a resistirse, ya con coraje empiezan a quemar la maquinaria de la mina. Empiezan entonces ya a decir ya basta la minería. Los que aunque habían vendido su tierra, pero no tenían trabajo, ya les estaban quitando el trabajo. Entonces empiezan a volverse en contra de la mina. Aquí también la mina también no se queda, sino se levanta y empieza a hacer denuncias hacia estas personas. También las organizaciones empiezan a hacer denuncias hacia el gobierno de Canadá, porque es una empresa canadiense. Entonces, las organizaciones empiezan a hacer las denuncias. ¿Qué está pasando? ¿Qué es lo que está haciendo el gobierno de Canadá con esta empresa minera? El gobierno está de acuerdo con lo que la empresa minera está haciendo, con el modo que está tomando para explorar los minerales en tierras guatemaltecas. Entonces, aquí empiezan lo que son, ahí sí, los que van a favor y en contra. Y luego la mina también. En 2010 capturan a doña Crisanta. Lo capturan por acusarla de que está en contra de la mina, de que ella está llenando la cabeza de la gente de que la mina está afectando, pero al mismo tiempo se da la liberación. Aquí surge una organización que se llamó Movimiento de Mujeres Indígenas. También empiezan los bloqueos de carreteras, las manifestaciones para que la empresa saliera de San Miguel, que ya no más a la empresa, hay que sacarla. También empiezan a surgir violencias prácticamente entre los extrabajadores y los trabajadores de la mina. Y luego surgen los problemas internos en la resistencia. Aquí empieza a surgir, a darse el divisionismo. Empieza la señalización. Tú estás a favor, tú estás en contra, tú eres de tal grupo, tú eres del otro grupo. Entonces aquí, incluso en las familias, se señalaban unos a otros, entre padres e hijos y hermanos también. Vamos a la siguiente. Bueno, en lo que pasamos a la siguiente, la empresa minera en sí ha remarcado la vida.
I'm going to need to come in. So if the translator is now translating for me here. Bonnie, this story is heavy and important, and it reflects the trauma that your community has gone through. And I thank you for sharing the story. I wish we had more time to hear more of the story, but our time constraints are bringing us to a place where we have to transition now. But what you've shared with us represents a harm done, not only to the land, but to the people together. It reminds me so much of the story of colonialism. So I just want to name that with you. I want to thank you with sharing your heart with us on this story. And I want to transition now to Nigan to share with us some summing up thoughts. As we have heard similarities and contrasts into some of these perspectives. So thank you very much. And I'm going to transition now to Nigan.
So miigwech, Peter, and huge miigwech to Peter, to Bonnie for that wonderful presentation. I kept doing research as you were talking because I'm embarrassed that I don't know more about this issue, but I feel certainly more educated now learning about the issues and the fact that it's a Canadian company that is doing this egregious destruction, ecological disaster in the area. And a couple things that are worth pointing out is the strategy that this company is doing by dividing people from day one, by offering free, water, free things to the community to try to buffer them or to prepare the community to already divide it from the very first day. And it is a reminder that colonialism and the theft of territory from Indigenous peoples is always a strategy. It's a global strategy. It's been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years, going all the way back to, frankly, before, the Crusades and hundreds of other years and years and years ago. People who take some things from those who are different. And it reminds me a lot of the Spanish trials that would happen in the 15th century around are Indigenous peoples human, and debating the humanity of Indigenous peoples. Because, Sarah and I come from a community that was forcibly removed off the land in 1907. And we often think of Canada as this place where those things don't happen. But in 1907, the government of Canada and other governments, provincial and municipal, came in with guns and removed us from our own lands so that farmers, settler farmers from Europe, could come and take our lands over 115 years ago, 115 years ago this year. So, and that's a reminder that, what's happening in Guatemala has already happened and continues to happen in places like Canada as well. So it's a reminder that to be Indigenous, when Sarah's talking about her name and she's talking about her culture, she's talking about, organizing a climate march, just being Indigenous is revolutionary. Just enacting, insisting, resisting, those things are the most revolutionary acts of all. And so when I was listening to Bonnie, I was listening to words. Of course, I don't speak Spanish, but I was listening to words that my brother there was using. And the use of resistance, but also the idea that there's a frequent dividing tactics that are used to try to undermine the resistance, is something that when we come together like this on a webinar, and I get to meet my new brother, my new cousin Bonnie, when we are connected, that is the most revolutionary thing of all, because it is colonialism that seeks to divide us. It is those corporations, those governments, and frankly, at times, churches that participate in the division of Indigenous peoples. And when we come together, it's this beautiful teachings around this feather. So I just want when I end off today, to talk a little bit about this feather. When an eagle flies in the sky, and crashes, that's what happens. When an eagle fights amongst themselves, or when an eagle gets wet. But what an eagle will do is an eagle will sit, be patient and be kind, will rest and come together. Often eagles will come together and care for one another, rub up against each other. And when they come together, that's when the filaments on the feathers reconnect. And that's what enables all of us to fly. That's how we fly. We fly when we come together, because when we are apart, we cannot fly. We get our land stolen. We get our languages taken from us. We get undermined and told that we're not good enough. But when we come together on sessions like this, when you get to hear Sarah, we get to hear Bonnie, I get to meet Bonnie. Like I said, I really hope that one day we get to share food, because in our culture, the most important thing is sharing food. And when we share that, then we come together and we can do anything. So now that I know a little bit about what's happening in Guatemala, I know that we can build a world where we see each other more connected than distanced. And so I'm very lucky that I got to be a part of this for today. And a huge miigwech to all of you and to Peter for organizing this. A huge miigwech for Bonnie for putting his life on the line for the earth. We are so lucky that there are people like you, Bonnie. We are so, the world is a better place because we have Bonnie and Sarah. And so we're very lucky that we get to be blessed with these incredible, I guess in a Christian context, we'd say angels, but in ours, we would say leaders, the Ogama, those who bring the community together. So we have these beautiful leaders that are a part of this call today. So we're very lucky. We're very lucky and we're very blessed that we get to be a part of your life. And so miigwech to all of you. And I hope that this conference is very useful to you and that you get to spend time together doing that work of coming together. So miigwech to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nigan. We are at our limit. So I am just going to say thank you on top of the words of Nigan. Thank you, Boni. This is an indicator that we need to do more of this. So we will close our time together now with the image of the feather. Thank you for that illustration. Let that sit with us and its message move us towards global solidarity. All right, I wish people a good rest of the afternoon. We'll see you in the rest in the plenary session coming up, and stay safe. Thank you.
Miigwech, take care. Bye, Boni.
Gracias, gracias, saludos.
Gracias to you. Thank you. And thank you to our translator too, Gennaro. So thank you, Gennaro.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.